You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Friendly reminder to those in town or want to make plans to come into South Florida to hang out with us on December 11th. It's all presented by Miller Lite and Dollar Shave Club. It's a Le Batard show hang for Monday Night Football. We're going to be at Dolphin Mall at the Miller Lite stage at Vivo, Miami for the Monday Night Football game that is presently scheduled to be Titans-Dolphins, and we hope to see you there. We typically have an end-of-the-year party with our fans, and we're really excited about this one because it's open to all ages. You can bring your kids. It's easy to get to. And it's in Doral, which is especially Hispanic and Latino down here in Miami, so it should be a real fun vibe. And it's for a Dolphin game, for a Dolphin team that's pretty good, so we can't wait to do that. I want to talk to you guys. The transfer portal in college football has been a big topic on today's show. Certainly it's going to be a big topic on Foot Girls. Okay, you guys, maybe you can warm up to it. Okay, it is Foot Girls. Just try it on. And then we'll go from there.
I don't think so, Mike, and I'm not even on it.
All right. Well,
do you want to be on it this week?
Yep.
Thank you. Committed a lot.
So much.
Committed a lot of budget to it. So just take that into account.
How much?
So much. It's too much.
We need a number.
Like, I'm in bad. I went in from my personal funds. Like, I commissioned this thing.
You used your Golden Cane fund?
Yeah. Cool. We somehow got Justin Scott, even though I made this Foot Girls intro.
But TVD leaving.
But I want to talk to you. We do need a quarterback. I do want to talk to you about a quarterback that I'd love to target. I don't think he's at all interested in Miami. He's a Duke quarterback, two-sport athlete, Riley Leonard, a really tremendous quarterback, and really did a lot for Mike Elko's Duke team. He entered the portal. And this one made me sad because it's almost like he didn't want to leave, but he had to leave. For this next step. And I see Jess really having trouble in containing her smile because the rumors have him going to Notre Dame, which is interesting because he has a do not contact on his portal designation right now, but we all know they're all contacted well before.
I love that do not contact. It's like, yeah.
The designation, so do not contact means don't contact me if you don't already have my number. I found that out.
It's like being on a dating app and not wanting anyone to message you. Like, come on.
But you're on a dating app.
Yeah. But
as in the transfer.
Is Notre Dame ever going to recruit a quarterback again, or are they just going to do this thing every year?
They actually have a freshman coming in next season who is very highly rated, Chris Cody.
So highly rated that they want Riley Leonard.
Well, he's a freshman.
He's a freshman.
So
I'm just needling.
If you want to actually, learn about the quarterback room, which I don't know if you do.
Is it a good room? I love a good QB room.
It's a good room, but I think there were questions about if Steve Angeli, who right now is the backup.
It's okay to be the team that just buys quarterbacks.
I agree.
Yeah.
And in fact, that is kind of like every season in college football, if you want to make the playoff, you have to go all in every season.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're a good college football coach and a good program, you have to strike the right balance between development and getting guys in the portal. And it seems that for the most part, the best teams are able to strike that balance. Teams that just find players in the portal, maybe they don't have the depth to compete later in the season, or teams that just are developing talent, like Clemson, for instance, that isn't getting a lot of guys out of the portal. If they find themselves short in a couple of positions where they could have really used a transfer, it would have made a big difference. So it's hard to strike that balance, and that is, I think, what Notre Dame's trying to do in getting Riley Leonard to join their quarterback room, because they have a couple guys that they really like that are younger, that haven't played and don't have the experience that Riley Leonard has. So if you have the opportunity to get a player like Riley Leonard, who was really exciting in 2022 to watch, kind of like a dual threat guy, and then in 2023 got hurt actually during the Notre Dame game, the final play of the game, and that kind of tanked Duke's chances the rest of the season because he came back and he was never really fully mobile again.
No, he kept getting re-hurt after trying to play. He's a gamer.
It was a nasty ankle sprain.
Yeah, but you guys have very recent history in getting a Tobacco Road quarterback from the ACC in a smaller school and having success, even though the season didn't come out exactly quite how
I'm still gonna miss him so much.
Notre Dame fans hoped. The quarterback position was pretty solidified, and so I understand why you would replicate it. And also, all that aside, Riley Leonard is a very good quarterback with pro prospects. But Lucy was telling me before the show that she got misty at his goodbye to Duke.
Yeah.
It was so well written. He put together this like Instagram slideshow that had like, it was a long, just love letter to Duke. And it like ended with him talking about this pond that he would go fishing on campus, and that it originally started as just like something really small that grew into something beautiful. And he hoped that his time at Duke was the same. And that was so poetic and pretty. And I was like, why are you leaving if you love it so much?
I feel like this is you just being sad that college football is coming to an end more than anything.
Yeah, I think
like,
that's a part of it.
If anyone's transferring at this
Lucy's
point,
projecting a little bit onto Riley. But it's very sweet. I mean, I feel like it's not often that you see a statement like that that's so personal and specific. And I love that, because it's usually like, I've enjoyed my time here. But he was like, there's this one pond and the fish there, and it was a little piece of home. And it's like, well,
I need a pond.
If your
Talk to
goodbye to your school features you with a fishing rod in your hand in front of a pond, I know Miami's got no shot. Like, I'm just, okay, that's probably got Notre Dame written all over it. So I'm happy for Jess and that she's going to get
2 lakes on campus at Notre Dame.
Canals don't hit the same.
No.
I have a canal. It doesn't hit the same.
No, we got beaches and a lot of other things that Ohio State message boarders accuse.
he would love my D3 college up in Maine. He would thrive there.
Now,
There was
that
a
would-
pond,
that would be a
Miller
move.
Pond. You weren't allowed to swim in it, but some people did.
This is the shuffle, though, now in college football, because now maybe one of Notre Dame's younger quarterbacks will leave, which, stinks, but it happened last year after Sam Hartman came to Notre Dame. Tyler Buckner transferred to Alabama. It didn't work out very well for him there, and he didn't play very much. But then, another team may get a pretty well-developed quarterback, and that was kind of what Dave Clawson was complaining about last week when he, at his press conference after Notre Dame beat Wake Forest. It was a very lopsided game. I can't even remember the final score, like 35-point win for Notre Dame. Dave Clawson made comments about Sam Hartman being a guy that Wake Forest developed, and then Notre Dame played "I Will Always Love You" put him on the video board, and the whole student section and everyone in the stadium cheered because they love Sam Hartman.
As they should.
And
They should love him.
Dave Clawson's like, he's not yours, he's ours. You just borrowed him.
No, he left you, brother.
Earlier
He
in the
left.
segment, I categorized your season as maybe a bit of a disappointment. Probably for year 2, Marcus Freeman, that's right on track. I don't know.
Fine. I think the disappointment was that the Ohio State game, they should have won. The difference between Notre Dame and Ohio State versus Michigan and Ohio State this year was that Michigan's DB caught the interceptable pass that Kyle McCord threw on the final drive. Notre Dame's dropped it, and that was the difference in the game. And it was very frustrating that they lost that one. And I don't think anyone expected Notre Dame to be 12-0 at the end of the year, but 9-3 is fine given that their schedule is very difficult. I just think, given the way that the games played out, they probably could have won at least one more of those. So that is disappointing.
My Miami Hurricane program is in a different place, and I kind of liken what's happening right now with this sicko season of Portal and Cruton to my previous fanhood with the Browns, where I'd really come alive for draft time. Like, that was my playoffs. Right now, this is my bowl season. But I do have kind of like a treetop view take when it comes to the portal and flipping recruits. Don't get too high and don't get too low, because it's weird, especially when you're dealing with kids and you're tagging them. It's just kind of disgusting. But this is a marathon, and sometimes when you lose a kid, I'm not saying this is the case with Justin Scott, but sometimes when you lose a commit, there is an internal decision. We know that they're coming for this kid, and we're going to let him go because it actually takes us off the hook from pulling an offer sometimes, and that's not always the case. And I'm not getting ahead and rationalizing an excuse for when inevitably Miami has a couple of hard commits flipped. But that is a huge part of all of this, and I think the discourse around it is fairly ridiculous, and not enough times do we reiterate that these are 17-year-olds. Think about how often you change your mind now. Think about how often you changed your mind when you were 17 years old and 18 years old. I have no grudge over any kid that is presently committed to my school or committed to other schools deciding to change their mind about something, because now when you add NIL to it, this is quite literally the biggest decision of their lives.
Well, so the thing about being 17, I do think that there's something wild about the pressure, not the pressure we put on these kids, because now I think the fact that there's money makes it feel better. But I think about where I was when I was 17, and I do think that when
Massachusetts?
yes.
I was so high.
But when you're 17, there's a well of confidence. You don't know what you don't know yet. So you're like, oh, I'm on top of the world. So actually, I feel like it's the best time to make a decision like that because you're like, I'm not going to be wrong. And then you're like, oh, yeah, maybe I was wrong. I'm going to go to that. Like, there's a freedom because
Not afraid to fail.
You don't know you don't know what you don't know.
When I was 17, they put me on the Gator Bowl website, and they haven't taken me off, and I wish they would change that. So I get it.
I was
wish they would
shocked,
change.
Lucy, when I found out that they're using a picture from, like, I mean, it's not that long ago, but, like, you think they'd refresh their media package every now and then, right?
That
Lucy's
is
Just like Iowa's synonymous
there,
with
Lucy.
the Tag Slayer Bowl.
I just want to say, I've been getting a lot of responses about that. That is my brother and sister in the picture with me, not Emily. We're not going to be mean to my little sister. She's cool. We like her. Not Emily.
Oh, you're
we
so
all
baby.
look so much better.
That's your
So
brother?
That's my brother.
No. He's so much older now.
So much older. He's in
Oh,
college
man.
now.
He's seen about maybe 84 Iowa points since
so many puns.
since that photo.
Twice as old as your brother.
I think we lost that game by like 32.
I'm your brother's mother.
What?
I'm your mother.
Why? One thing that I don't understand that we're seeing a lot in the portal, and maybe you guys will cover on Foot Girls coming up later this week, but you see a lot of kids one and doneing it and entering the portal after a frustrating freshman year. Maybe there were promises made, and you never know what happens on the practice field. Maybe there were broken promises, but maybe they were also outplayed. And you see kids burning up their one-time penalty-free transfer where they don't have to sit out so early on. A lot of kids are getting bad advice here. That stuff has so much value, especially with the COVID year going away, where this upcoming season is the last of it. I don't understand why so many people are doing that. Take your time, develop in the program, and you're that much more valuable later in the process. Because if you're openly lamenting something after 1 year, you're not accounting for you're going to make this other gigantic move, go to another place. Some of those same frustrations are going to bubble up, and you're going to have no way out. You're stuck for 3 years. Your way out is to hit the books and graduate early.
Are these kids, do they have reps at this point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or I'm
That's
thinking
the
this is
scary
just
part.
like parents like giving advice on stuff.
It's a lot
I
of
forget
both.
they even like graduate.
Yeah.
I forget that's part of it. I'm like, oh, you're there. Oh, right. Cool. Congrats.
For most of them, they won't go pro in anything.
I know.
Yeah, other than sports. It's a
Yeah.
whole, yeah.
But I guess a grad transfer is now an incentive to, okay, I can do this and get another NIL check.
I want to see a kid like stay in school and get a PhD and just be eligible forever. Like 8 years, 10 years. Let's
What
do
would
it.
they do?
Get
Who
a
says
law
no?
degree
The
too.
golden recruit. Hey, it's Mike. Hut, hut, whistles, penalty flags, touchdowns, rah-rah. Love all that stuff about football season. But you know what I love the best about football season? It's camaraderie I get when I toast the beautiful white can that holds the key to making football amazing. I'm talking, of course, about Miller Lite. I make it Miller time every time it's football time, and I'm never left disappointed because it is the perfect beer to pair with our national obsession. From kickoff to the final whistle, you just can't go wrong with a Miller Lite in your hand. It's the only light beer with a taste worthy of football. What's the point of having a beer if it doesn't taste like, well, beer? Thankfully, Miller Lite checks all the flavor boxes, and it's only got 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12-ounce serving. This season, do what I do. Crack open a light beer that hits your taste buds so hard, you feel it in your heart. And you can scream touchdown and hoorah and all that stuff. Make it Miller time all season long. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.